of the Board of Education provides an opportunity for members of the public to address the board on any subject within its jurisdiction. We ask that the speakers consider the decorum of this official meeting and remind speakers that comments and criticism can be politely and respectfully stated. We ask that the speakers remain mindful that the students and children are a part of our audience and that we all serve as role models for good behavior. We also ask speakers to consider the privacy interest of individual employees and remind speakers that there is a procedure outside of the context of this board meeting for filing a complaint against the district or a district employee. More information about that process can be obtained from the superintendent's office during the regular business hours. Okay, let's just start with the wedge words. You want to start?
Yeah, sure. I got Tyler Liu.
So each one will have a 2.5 minutes.
We'll go 3, Dr.
Three.
We'll go 3?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
go 3.
Okay.
Tyler Liu, you're going to be first, and after that we have Vivian Ko. Vivian Ko. All right. You're on deck. All right, and whenever you're ready, Dr. Chang will start the timer.
Good evening, board and members, superintendent and guests. Please help our students build a new school. The current conditions is not up to today's learning standard. We eat out in the sun without AC. We don't have a kitchen, so we eat soggy fries and lukewarm fruits. We walk in the rain because there is no cover. We can't have a word assembly or a performance stage because the NPR is just too small to fit all the parents and children. Some students pee in their pants because there are only 3 restrooms to service all 591 students. At the current state, the school is just too old and small to fit all students. Please help Wedgewood to build a permanent school from all portable classrooms. Thank you.
Vivian Ko, you're up next.
First, I want to thank all the board members and people from the district who supported the Wedgeworth expansion building permanent structure project. I understand there's opponents in this, and there's a lot of bias and partial information spreading around social media, kind of saying Wedgeworth, building Wedgeworth, it's a want, not a need. I want to let the public and community know that no, it's a need, it's an urgent need, it's a safety need. Maybe you don't care about the comfort or the comfortable environment for the student or faculty, but everybody should care about safety. We are in California, it's an earthquake zone. Can 40-year-old portable classrooms be safe when earthquake comes? Is that up to today's earthquake standard? And
Yes.
the increased gun violence that's happening in this country, and this is real because when my kids are in school, there's been lockdown before when police are doing chase and they have to lock the school down. You may think, okay, lockdown is fine, students are inside the classroom. But are the thin walls of 40-year-old portable classrooms safe enough? Can they keep the children safe enough from bullets? I think we all know the answer. And if, God forbid, anything bad were to happen due to the structure of the school cannot keep our kids or faculty safe, who should be responsible? Should it be the board member that vote against this project? Or should it be the district? Or should it be the community who continuously to ignore the basic safety needs of our children and faculty? Thank you.
You have 3 minutes, Dr. Chang.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank
Chang.
you. Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, Manuel Maldonado. First of all, I want to start, as you know, with issues and with all due respect to the ladies that just spoke in regards to Wedgeworth School. It's not only Wedgeworth that is suffering with old, decaying, portable classrooms. And I invite you people from Wedgewood Academy to come down to Nelson, to come down to Sparks, to come down to Workman Elementary and all the schools in La Puente and see that we have portables that are 60 and 70 years old. And they're along Nelson Avenue, they're along main avenues that are decaying, that are rotted from the ground. And I understand, but the building of a new school is not a priority. Because less than a quarter of a mile, we have a less populated school, which is Bixby, that can be renovated, and those people can be accommodated there. And then we have the other middle school down around the corner that also can be refurbished and be accommodating the kids that will come into 7th and 8th grade. La Puente High School has been waiting for a swimming pool for the last 7 years. Mr. Kwok, you gave us your promise, Mr. Kwok, and you're failing us. And look at me, Mr. Chang. Mr. Chang, look at me, please. When you went to be interviewed by our group, you gave us the promise that you were going to do everything possible for the school district, and you're not. Mr. Medrano, when we interview you, and I'm not failing you, Mr. Don't stop me, please, because I'm going to take more time. Mr. Medrano, you also gave us your pledge that you were going to be fair to all the students, and you're not. You are not being fair. You are not being fair. And shame on you. And I don't know how can you sleep at night by not being fair. Today, or yesterday, I learned that Workman High School's kitchen has been closed by the health department. So, I learned that the health department closed down Workman High School. Thank you, Mr. Chang. It's kind of shameful to see that you have signs with Measure BB, when we have so many things going on. Nelson Elementary has been suffering with a piece of land right in front that's blade. It's ugly. The trees are dying. It's so bad. Where's the money that came from the sales of the two schools that we have? The air conditioning at Nelson Elementary, we had a pregnant teacher who had to teach inside the cafeteria because for nearly a month the air conditioning was not repaired. We had a blackout at Nelson Elementary because the failing wiring of school. The schools that are low performing are all in La Puente. Yes. Where are you, board members? Where are you? We need new principals that really care for our children. Thank you. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Oh, she's going to yield her time because she just had some dental work and she wants me to use her time, if I may.
What was her name? So I can get the
Elizabeth Morales?
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing, in regards to Temple Academy. Temple Academy is long overdue for renovations. And you think your children get wet at Wedgewood? Go to Temple Academy. See when it rains, those kids, when they go to those portable classrooms, the water is almost to their knees. There's no shade, there's nothing. And even with the air conditioning, they suffer of heat, those kids. Please visit the schools in La Puente. Come over, see me. I'll give you a tour of my school, Workman Elementary, Temple, and other schools that I know that desperately need work. La Puente High School needs that kitchen urgently. Don't spend those $50 million in a new school. Refurbish Bixby. Refurbish Cedar Lane around the corner. And move those kids there. It's safer. It's bigger. The campus is much bigger. Move them there. But give those kids in La Puente what they deserve. We have low-performing schools, and all the low-performing schools are in La Puente. I don't know what you're going to do when you bring those kids to speak about their achievements, because, I mean, we have very little achievements in La Puente. I'd be embarrassed to be the superintendent, to be the board member, and bring in those kids when we know that there are a lot of kids that are underperforming. We know that. I'd be embarrassed. We need training for the parents. There's no parent participation for years. There hasn't been any parent participation because the district is lacking to properly train those parents to be part of the DAC, the ELAC, the school site council, and many other committees that need to be. This week I was at Nelson Elementary ELAC. There were only 2 parents. I asked the parents why. Because the principal doesn't let us talk. Because the principal it really doesn't promote the meeting. coming over. I'll speak for you. But come to the meetings. It's very disappointing to see that we have had 2 bonds, and we still need a long ways to go. What Ms. Bowie did tonight was show the little patches that's been done to the schools, but we need a lot more. The other issue, I need you guys to go to school functions, because when we interview each one of you, you said, "Oh, I'm at all school functions." Where were you when the Wedgeworth meetings were? The only one I saw with Mr. De La Torre and Mr. Polk, like halfway towards the Saturday meeting, and then he left. I don't know where he went, but he left. But where were you, Mr. Medrano? Where were you, Mr. Chang? You're a ghost in this district. You've been here more than 25 years, Mr. Chang, and you're still a ghost. You need to get to work, Mr. Chang, or resign. Thank you.
Diana Ortega.
Thank you very much. I'm ready. I'm Mrs. Ortega. I reside in Hacienda Heights for the past 35 years, and I just found out last week about the fiasco that this board has implemented in trying to sell off our district parcels at a time. It's disgraceful that this board met and decided that they were going to inform only a 1-mile radius from Wedgeworth and inform that community of your plan. You know that this district is 11.5 square miles. You omitted thousands of people in this community that pay taxes for you to sit there to provide a service not just for yourself or a chosen few. You are here to provide a service for 2 communities, La Puente and Hacienda Heights. I understand exactly, sir, what you were talking about. Those children from La Puente are bused in, and they are filtered along the border of Hacienda Heights. They get off their buses and they go back to La Puente after school. Why can't you do that for Wedgeworth? Why can't they assimilate and be bused to other schools in the district? If they are in need like everyone else, well, you know what? Stand in line, because these children that have been here generational, like my children, and now my grandchildren, I'm sorry. Shame on all of you. You're a disgrace to my community. You are selling off my district for the highest bidder. How dare you hire a private company? Excuse me, I'm speaking, sir. You hired a private company, a public speaker for you. I spoke with the Mr. Mendoza from Lee Andrews. First, I spoke to Miss Wong. Never returned my call. I am asking for transparency. I want to know what your so-called plan is for Wedgeworth. But more than anything, Highlander. That property was, thank you, that property was given to this community by that family for generations to provide a place for the children. Look at me, Mr. Medrano. I'm signaling you. Shame on you, as you went to Los Altos High School. How dare you? You turned your back, you wear blinders. Look to the left and look to the right, because it's all around you. Highlander is not being sold. Mr. Kwok, not being sold. That is community property of Hacienda La Puente, and that was entrusted to this community for future generations. We have athletes that have gone on to national baseball teams. Okay, so they learn sportsmanship, and once you take that, they're roaming the streets. And guess whose streets are? They're going to be your streets, La Puente Street. They come from La Puente, they come from Bishop Amant, they come from Wilson, they come from Los Altos, they come from everywhere. That is the only sacred place these children have. Shame on all of you if you turn your back on them.
Suzanne Hofstadt? You are up next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Suzanne Frettel Hopstock. I'm a resident of Hacienda Heights, 26 years. Didn't have children in the district. They went elsewhere. But I am a property owner. I'm a taxpayer. I knew nothing about the sale of these properties. I knew nothing about the impact that high-density housing on a school campus is going to create havoc in my life in terms of traffic. Recently, I took a Zusa from Colima, took 20 minutes to get from Colima to Gale on a Zusa at 7:30 in the morning. That's ridiculous. And you're going to put 1,200 students in Wedgeworth. But more than that, you failed to notify me about that meeting. I live 2.5 miles from Wedgeworth. I got a notice in the mail yesterday from the county over my darn trash service. Everybody in Hacienda Heights got a notice for a community meeting about trash. I think our kids are more important. The problem is this district represents two communities. I substituted in this district. I have an office in La Puente. I am very familiar with both communities, and 25 years ago, I saw the disparity in this district. One of the reasons my kids didn't attend these schools. However, with that said, it is wrong. It is wrong not to involve the community. Those properties don't belong to the board. Those properties belong to the district. The district belongs to the people, the tax-paying people. It's long overdue that we probably have a board that is representative of districts in the district. One vote from over there, one vote from over there. We can't have 4, 3, 4 over here in Hacienda Heights calling all the shots. I'm a Hacienda Heights person, but I'm going to say that. There's a disparity. There is an absolute disparity. I'm a chiropractor, I have patients, I have children, I have parents, I have teachers from the La Puente side. I taught long-term over there at Sparks in the early 90s. There is disparity. Thank you. Let's see. The meeting was a fiasco in my eyes. You guys have paid a lot of good money, our money, for a really slick PR team. And they bragged about how Wedgeworth was number 2 in the district, number 2, and then everybody's, oh no, well, we're number 2, so we need a new building. No, you don't. The building doesn't make the program. Parents, teachers, students make the program. Why aren't we emphasizing that triad in all of the schools and bring up the success in all of the schools? Because no building is going to do it. You have other schools. You do not need. And why are we all of a sudden reinventing junior high and high school and elementary school? And we go from K to 6 to K to 5, 7 and 8, 6, 7 and 8. And now we got to go K to 8. But what is this? It just keeps everybody important and keeps their jobs going. It's ridiculous. You don't need to reinvent the educational wheel. You really don't. It's been going on in this country since the beginning of time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melody Honstra. I live in Hacienda Heights, and I do have office in La Puente too. I think lately we hear a lot of parents here say,
Talk to the board.
no, I want to talk to you guys too.
Hey, excuse me. No one interrupted your comments. You gotta let her.
Talk to the board, please. Thank you.
I'm talking to board, I'm talking to everybody. Okay, please respect me, I respect you. Thank you. Okay, lately everybody talking about why split out the students to send the students to other school. It's not about school make decision for that. It's parents. I have 2 kids make decision where my kids gonna go. So you're not gonna tell me send your kids to Pixie, send your kids to Cedarland, or send your kids to La Puente or not. I want to decide what's the best school for my kids. And I want to thank board of a member make right decisions to make a way to us in this under bad conditions and still have a great students. Why that happen? Because students, parents, and teacher make that happen. School, district can only helping and assist. But don't try to put you guys not want to do it and then just pushing to school district. It's the school district's issue. Now it's everybody in community's issue. It's our issue. It's our issue to educate our kids. So I want to say, back in the 70s, Wedgeworth is designed to build as a permanent school. And now when there is a need to when there's a need to expand to K-8, and there needs a funding, which what parents and a lot of other community members work hard to try to get a funding. Now funding is ready, school all ready to build. Now everybody say, we all need a funding. Okay, where are you guys from beginning? I want to say is this, we work hard for get this K-8 project to approve. And we want our kids to better. We want our community better. This is like, domino effect. One school is better. Understand that? One school is better, all the school is better. We don't want to have everybody we hear a lot of social media, one or two people constantly dividing the community. And that person doesn't even live in Hacienda Heights.
That's not true,
We don't even have paying the property tax here. We the property payer here. But the person doesn't even live here, spreading out the rumor, dividing the community. That's not right. We're here for our kids. We're here for our school. We're here for our school. And then don't use the baseball to against Wedgwood. We want to help baseball. We believe in sportsmanship. We believe over sports. So that's how the school, that's how the baseball, and the district already say find a solution for baseball, but you guys still continue against Wedgwood. Why? What's the agenda here?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's time. I'm gonna make this one announcement for all of us adults in the room. There won't be no comments when someone else is speaking on the dais. Please be respectful of their time. And it's the last time we're gonna make that announcement. Up next, we have Eve Hong.
Allowing me to speak today. Yes, I'm a resident in Hacienda Heights for the last 12 years. Yes, I have kids at Wedgwood, and I'll be honest with you, when I first looked into the school district, I wasn't sure. But I sent my kids to Wedgwood, and I've been so proud of my kid. Yes, my kid looked like me. Yes. But guess what? I teach all the kids. I teach kids that look nothing like me. And guess what? They speak another language that's not their main language. I have it on video, I don't want to show it. But they are wonderful. These kids are wonderful. And thank you for the opportunity, for allowing all these kids to have a chance to be in this world that will be globalized for so much, for the next 50 years, 100 years. I hope Wedgwood will be rebuilt. I hope Wedgwood will be the flagship of Hacienda Heights. It will be a school where people from all over the world will hear about us. Because I know people hear about Troy, Whitney, and things like that. High schools that's very famous everywhere. I want Hacienda Heights Unified District to have a school like that as well. I may be not as loud, I may not seem as passionate, but I am. Because I'm a resident, I use the word we in everything I do. We as in my friends who live in La Puente. We as in my friends who live in La Puente who come to school in Wedgwood. I spoke to my parents who live in La Puente, spoke to me recently. I asked them why. Why do you make the drive out the way to Wedgwood with the condition the way it is? The mom said to me, education, participation, the principal, the school, the teacher, and the passion we have for education. This school will be wonderful if it's in a condition that is deserving for the children. Tyler, who spoke earlier, thank you. You are the type of kid that's going to be living in the community for the next, hopefully, 20, 30, 40 years, and you will look back at this fight you have. Thank you. I'm very proud to be in this city, and I'm proud that I want to continue to be in the city. And I hope the board member will approve to have us to build this school. Like I said, I'm not here to divide. I hate divisions. I hate yelling. I hate screaming. Because I know none of us will be effective. It's only if we work together and hopefully build something that we can all be able to sustain and continue to create this community and making this community the way it is and better than it is. Again, think of the kids that are in the school. Think of the expansion. I know my friend here is very passionate. I understand that we all say that go ahead and send your kids somewhere else. This is our choice. We want to send our kids here. This is my friend's choice who live in La Puente, also decided to send their kids here. But they're worried. Safety, buildings, and facilities.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Next we have Manny Perez.
Good evening, board members. I am the president, Manny Perez. I'm the president of Hacienda Heights Little League. I come up here and speak on behalf of our Little League and on behalf of our kids and our parents. And I very rarely get into my personal opinions, but I want to touch on my personal opinion of something that occurred last week. And that meeting that took place at Wedgeworth School last week was an absolute farce. It was an insult to our intelligence. It was an insult to everybody's intelligence in that room, including the Wedgeworth parents. I think it's shameful that the board members were not in attendance. Mr. Kwok, you were there 5 minutes, I think, and I saw you walk out. I sat in front of Mr. Delatorre the entire meeting, and I think it's shameful. And you know, when people don't believe in something or don't believe that it's right and above board, then they tend to hide behind doors. And you can see the passion, not only from the Wedgeworth parents, but from the La Puente parents, from everybody in these two communities, and you can't even take the time to attend a meeting with an event like this that's going to have a major impact on the children and the parents of students across the community. And personally, I think it's a farce, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. You really should. I'm here to talk about the current status of Hacienda Heights Little League. I sent a message out today to Mr. Harnsberger and Annie, letting them know where we are at and what our stance is going to be moving forward. We were contacted by Williamsport Little League this week, and they wanted to know if they needed to revoke our charter because the rumors that are going around all the way back to Williamsport, and it comes from the other leagues, is that we will not have a field to play on after the season. I also want to talk about something that the elephant that's in the room. You know, we keep getting the same answers. Nothing has been decided. Nothing has been going forward. Nothing has been approved. You know what? The writing's on the wall. This school is moving forward to being built, and what the district is doing is spending thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars on getting this project to move forward with nothing being talked about or decided or helped any progress to move or replace or reorganize for Hacienda Heights Little League. You've got all the pony leagues now that are attempting to poach all of our kids out. We have 450 kids last year. You know, you talk about Wedgeworth that's growing. Our league is growing. We have girls now playing softball. You sat here 3 months ago and said, we care about Little League. Show us you care. Do something, okay? Because I will tell you this, the corner you have painted us into now in this situation, we will align with any group that will save our fields, okay? And that includes any group that opposes the building of Wedgeworth School. Thank you.
Is there a Milton Escobar Flores? Milton Escobar Flores. No? Milton, last call?
This is Milton right here.
We are going to share, there's a total of 4 of us. We are going to share the time. So you told us 12 minutes, correct?
You fill out how many cards? Just for Milton or for how many?
Well, it's three myself, 3, so total of 12 minutes. So I'm gonna voice, so I'm gonna sign myself. I'm gonna voice for all of us.
Okay.
Good?
Yes.
You got 12 minutes, right?
Yes. Yes.
Go for it.
Okay.
12. Give him
So
12.
before we start,
Was there any other
and
names?
administrators are here from the elementary school, some of the kids that received an award, or some of the parents, or some of the kids. Congratulations. Thank you. Okay.
Sir?
The administrators,
Really quickly, just what other names, other cards did you have that were on that you wrote?
I
in for?
gave the young lady the cards. So
Yes,
I have
you did.
Gabe,
You
Milton, Lewis, and Rose. 4 of us.
That's all we needed. Thank you.
Good? Okay.
Give him back his pen.
So, board, thank you for having and listening to us.
We're ready to
I have a master's degree. I have a house. I pay taxes. I have kids in the district. Okay? I have a kid in college doing what he's supposed to be doing. 2 of them. I'm sharing this for a reason because many of us have the same. However, I am deaf. I use American Sign Language to communicate, the same as some of us here standing here. We have some students at the Hacienda de la Puente Adult School. Can you please sign for me? I'm going to voice. Okay? I'm going to voice. So you sign for them? We're good? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to switch to voice. I'm a late deaf and adult. The deaf pendulum goes from deaf, mute, not being able to voice, here, all in the middle, hard of hearing, late deafened, and hearing, normal hearing. Okay? I have the ability to use voice. Some of the students at Hacienda de la Puente do not have that option. Currently, that I know of, there's at least 4 students in the Hacienda de la Puente Adult School that are in your culinary arts program, cosmetology program, and 2 other students that are there. There is absolutely no interpreters there to help people like myself. The reason I'm sharing with you about having a master's degree is I had equal access to communication, equal access to all the services that the normal hearing kids had. The students that are standing here behind me, they don't have that access. We are setting them up for failure. One student next week has a state board because he's in the cosmetology program at the adult school. There's no interpreter for him. How is he going to pass the state board when the instructor is sharing with him, please cut hair this way, please do nails, eyebrows, whatever you have to do? How does he do that? There is no possible way. We have a student in the culinary arts program. Many of our students in that program, they're having trouble conversion from tablespoons to milliliters to cups, ounces, and so forth. Many of the students are having trouble with math. The teacher understands that, no problem. The teacher has mandatory tutoring for some of these students. Yet, my deaf student, my deaf friend that's in that class, went to that tutoring, and the teacher said, oh yes, sorry, we can't help you. I don't have an interpreter here. We are setting her up for failure to do that. Right? Some of us here on the board have some deaf family members. We cannot do that. American with Disabilities passed over 30 years ago to protect students, people with disabilities in general. This is a public entity. We are a school. We have LACO, the Los Angeles County Office of Education, that has rules to protect people with disabilities. Yet, the school district, Hacienda de la Puente, is not taking care of our students in that way. Okay? I had the ability to move forward because I had access to all I was mainstream program. My friends that are standing behind me, my colleagues, my classmates, they are not having the same opportunity. I would love to be part of some of the kids that come up and get an award and present that we are successful. We can do anything anybody else in this room can do. Yes. However, how do I get an award? How do they get an award if we don't have the resources to help out? Yes. We are not asking for any special privilege. We're not asking for any special handouts. All we are asking for is to have access to the same tools and services, laptops, everything else that all the other kids have. That is it. So I hope we take this into consideration. We need those interpreters in the classroom, because if we don't, we are just sitting there like some students are. Now I understand we don't have enough interpreters. I understand that. There's a shortage of interpreters. But yet today, we were able to hire a freelance interpreter from a different agency, and he is here today. There is no reason we can't do that at the school district. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carlos. Yeah, I just want to give greetings to the board. Yeah, I graduated high school here, and I went to Wilson. I went to Wilson High School, and they had in La Puente, and they had the deaf program there, and I learned how to, all my become an electrician. They provided interpreters there, and they provided any deaf services that I needed. It was all included in my education during the 90s. I achieved my goals. I work at Northrop Grumman, the government program, and that's why I work at that site. Yeah, and I was able to learn welding. Yeah, so I went back to that. La Puente School to the adult school for training, and I went in, I greeted everybody, and the counselor said, you know, sorry, we don't have a deaf program here, sorry. You have to pay for your own interpreter. Sorry. And I see other deaf students here and the frustration they're experiencing. And these have never been at the district. You know, I've been at this district and there's no interpreting for welding. And I worked 25 years at Northern Green. And I want to learn more. I want to do different things with my life. You know? Yeah, so my life goal was accomplished, but where's their life goal? How can they accomplish new things? You know, these hearing people can do things, and it's easy for them to access the information. But as a deaf child, as a baby, having all these frustrations, and I felt like, you know, I didn't have any opportunities because the services wasn't provided for me. And I'm standing up for them because those services provided me during high school, and I want these services to provide to everybody. Please have interpreters, and maybe we can hire deaf or disabled teachers. You know, in the adult program, we need interpreters. Please help us. Yeah. Before I was in a program at the high school with 25 students, and they had an interpreter program. And now there's only 2 students here, and we can't provide services. And I really don't want the deaf program to fade here. You know, I want it to keep going. I want services to be provided. Same as, you know, everybody else. It's just we're just asking for equality. That's all we're asking for. Yeah, you know, what happens is we don't provide these services, and we're just a drain to society. You know, we rely on SSI, but we want deaf people to be access to the community, access to jobs. Please. Thank you so much.
Up next we have Christine Salazar.
I know Solis to go first.
Can we just switch?
Yeah,
I'm on the list too.
Thank you.
That's okay?
Yeah.
How many minutes?
3.
You owe me one from the last time. You remember. I don't need to express to anyone or prove anything to anyone about what my position is in the community at Hacienda Heights. I am one of the 2 that someone spoke about earlier that has taken serious concern about what's going on in our community. I respectfully ask for your undivided attention. The district residents hold this board responsible for the conflict that you have created in our community. The board has given our kids the illusion that we will be getting a new school, and others that they won't have a place to play baseball. When the only thing that is certain is a school design. That's the only thing you guys have approved. It has now been confirmed by Ms. Bowie and Mark Hansberger that the board has not determined or approved how it's going to pay for the Wedgeworth project. We're still confused too. In fact, the supporting evidence is that the board has not taken any action yet, any action including notifying the Little League when it is to vacate the land for the new project. You would think that's something you guys would take up and at least notify the Little League. You're playing with our kids and you're playing with our community, and you will all be held accountable for that. The board asked the district taxpayers for $148 million because, quote, the state of California is not providing the district with enough money for the district to adequately maintain its educational facilities and academic programs. The board concluded that the district's only remedy to avoid undermining its educational programs is to secure local funding that the state won't take away. The board intentionally deceived and misled the voters with the omission of the fact that the board had previously approved surplus properties that were valued at $62.25 million to be sold. The board should have disclosed that to the residents before asking for $148 million. The residents demand that you all cease and desist from any further expenditures involving funds acquired by the 2016 bond measure BB and the proceeds that are acquired from the properties known as La Sabita, Glen Elder, Lomitas, and Wedgeworth. You have been officially notified, and each of you will personally be held accountable for any future expenditures that you vote or approve on, effective immediately. Finally, you distorted the delivery of my message on behalf of the residents asking for your resignation on August 22nd, 2019. You owe me a minute. The approved minutes distort the message I delivered on behalf of the district residents. It completely excluded the residents' demand for your resignation. Do not make the mistake of distorting this message. Cease and desist from any further expenditures involving the funds mentioned herein. You have been served and notified. You owed me a minute, and you know that.
Everyone else had 3 minutes. Thank you. Christine, you're up next, please.
I'm giving my minutes to Christine.
Okay, you got 6, Christine.
Hello, my name is Christine Salazar, and I am an Hacienda Heights resident, a Hacienda Heights Little League board member, and a parent of this school district. Our mission started with just ensuring our Little League had a future. As you know, Highlander Baseball Complex has been the home of youth baseball for the past 40 years. And for years now, they have asked you and the school district as to what their status may be. And we're constantly told that there was nothing to worry about and that nothing was finalized. Since April, Little League has only had 4 meetings with the district with no progress and the same information being shared, that nothing has been finalized and that a meeting with county is in the works. It took 2 to 3 years to finalize Highlander, and with the new school expansion is set to break ground in May in 2020, they don't even have a year for a contingency plan. We know that you and the district didn't plan for a contingency plan. And so, now they have to demand one, since they and their 400 Hacienda Heights kids have no place to play after the 2020 season. And so we started to research and investigate the district. And we concluded this, that the Hacienda Heights Little League were not the only ones being excluded. For years, the rights of the Hacienda Heights and La Puente residents have been suppressed by this district. And since 2011, you have held at least 59 illegal closed sessions, and that's citing the Ralph M. Brown Act. And that's in regards to liquidating the real estate property in schools. And these properties are not being sold in order to build one permanent K-8 school at the cost of at least $52 million. While this district, and that includes schools that are just a few blocks away, and like many other districts throughout the state of California, are suffering from a decline in enrollment. We have residents that live directly across the street from the school who were not even informed by the school district of your plans, nevertheless asked to participate in the process. And today, there are still many more that don't know about this project, leaving residents and district families confused and wondering why. I and Gabriela Navarre have consistently been asking you for transparency and communication, with no avail. And you had a chance at the latest Wedgeworth community meetings, but unfortunately, the community was not allowed to speak. Upon arrival, we were asked to fill out comment and question cards, which were later read out loud by the public relations group contracted by you, the district. The moderator would respond to a majority of the questions, not knowing the complete answer. Out of the 5 board members elected by the community, only 1 of you was present for both meetings from start to finish, which obviously demonstrated to the community your interest to them. If you had other engagements, you all should have taken that into consideration and had the meetings where more of you would be present. After all, you represent us. The community does not feel this new school is necessary, considering that the needs of the rest of the schools in the district have not been made. And based on the PO expenditure reports, $1.4 million have already been spent on this new school that, according to the district, has not even been budgeted or approved. Our extensive research also indicates there is no need. And the district also deceived registered voters into approving a $148 million bond while the district was well aware of the potential sales of the surplus properties. So how can you make such important and drastic decisions without the full communication and input from the very communities you are supposed to serve? So tonight, I will take the first step to change. We fully believe that the end does not justify the means. Everyone can agree that all our children should have the same opportunity to go into school in safe and permanent buildings. However, the community must have a say, and that means that all stakeholders that stand to be impacted by the decisions made from this school district must be included and be given the opportunity to work together. Now, you know, I have a son that currently attends Wedgeworth, and he would benefit from a new school. But it would be selfish of me to support this project knowing the conditions of other schools and the vacant sites that are available for use. Our community needs green space. Our community needs fields to play sports on. Now currently, our school board members are not doing the community justice, and they are not representing the best interests of both Hacienda Heights and La Fuente. So I am formally serving notices of intention to recall to the following Hacienda La Fuente Unified School District board members: Dr. Joseph Chang, Gina Pam Esquire, Anthony Duarte, and Martha Majano. I hope you can explain yourselves in responses to this intent so that we can finally get some answers from you. We too are part of the Hacienda La Puente Unified School District, and it's time all our voices are heard, and it's time to have the representation we deserve. Thank you.
Gabriel Rios, you here? Yeah, no.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and members of the community. Tonight I'm here to talk about the town hall meetings at Wedgeworth Elementary. As a resident of Hacienda Heights, I expect better organization, which includes properly notifying the residents of both communities, Hacienda Heights and La Puente. Many of us are still waiting for our notice about the meeting. The venue, it should have been held at a high school, one in Hacienda Heights and one in La Puente. The high school would have accommodated more people. The Q&A was a disaster. We are all adults and should have been given the opportunity to ask our own questions. We were told that all questions would be answered and would be provided to all. We're still waiting. Such an important meeting, and most school members were missing in action. Mr. De La Torre, thank you for making us a priority. We elected you to represent us. The hope is that you show up to the next town hall meeting. The Wedgeworth project has really divided our community due to insufficient information on both sides, not listening to one another. One of the suggestions that has been presented by many members of the community is make Wedgeworth K-5, basically K through 5, make Cedar Lane a middle school like it used to be when my girls were there. Keep the Little League because it does service over 450 community children. The funds saved in the upgrades for these schools, the funds saved can be used for upgrades in the schools in La Fuente. It is my hope that we create a group that includes parents, teachers, residents, students from Hacienda Heights and La Puente, and that we come up with ideas that would service both communities. It is also important to have the same educational opportunities in every school. I personally do not agree with having to shop around for a better school. We are Hacienda La Puente Unified School District. Every school should have equal opportunity across the board. We should all have Spanish and Chinese being taught in every school. What is wrong with learning 3 languages? Spanish, English, Chinese, maybe Korean, maybe another language. But I believe in equal education, and right now I feel that we are not providing equal education to all of our kids. I was fortunate enough to live in Hacienda Heights. My daughters went to Bixby, Cedar Lane, and Wilson. Wilson it's a top of the line high school. I was very fortunate to have my girls go there, but every child deserves equal education. I don't agree with La Puente being shortchanged, and this has been going on for as long as I can remember. It needs to stop. We need to make changes. Thank you so much for your time.
You got 3 minutes, Dr. Chang.
Good evening, board members. My name is Mario Berrigan. I'm a resident of Hacienda Heights. Been a resident here for 23 years. I've raised 3 beautiful daughters. All attended Hacienda La Puente District. Last one is at Los Altos. 2 of them graduated. Actually, one graduated from Cal Poly Pomona. The other is a senior at UC Riverside. I grew up in Boyle Heights, and I wasn't fortunate enough to have I moved here to Hacienda Heights for the very one reason, and that was a better school district. I think over the years I've definitely had that. It's proven in my girls that I've raised, and it's a great place here. Much like the baseball parents and soccer parents, I was a softball parent. My daughters played softball for 15 years at Cedar Lane, behind the junior high school. Much like the baseball and soccer parents, that's what we were relegated to, playing behind a school. I always ask the question, why are my kids not being able to play at a county facility appropriate for Hacienda and La Puente? That's just not in the cards. It hasn't been in the cards since I've been here for the last 23 years. I think we definitely have issues, and I hear everybody's concern here, but at the same time, Parks and Rec is a function of the County of Los Angeles, and our board supervisor needs to be held accountable. Our concerns need to be loud and clear, but it needs to be at the doorsteps of the appropriate governing body, which is Janice Hahn's office. I stood here before you guys when Measure BB was, we were looking at Measure BB. I was a great supporter of Measure BB. I came, I walked, I did whatever I could to make sure this bond measure passed. Because one of the things I did say up here, I stood up here and I said how old these facilities are. I'm in construction. I've been a construction electrician for almost 30 years. I build high schools, colleges, universities, middle schools, high schools, and I haven't built one in my own community. I'm ready to build one in my own community. And not one, but 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. And when this bond measure is over, I want to go after another bond and build 5, 6, 7, and 8 until we replace every single one of these schools, because none of our kids deserve to be in portables. That's what we've had to do over the years, but it's time to change. And I think the fight needs to be taken at the doorstep of the people that are responsible, and that's the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next we have Sue Koval. Sue, are you here?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to say that values like fairness and decency are vanishing before our eyes. And here we get to say what kind of world we want this to be, but are we heard? We live in a world where officials think it's okay to hide truths from us. People are making choices and having opinions without all the information because officials are misleading us. Both sides of the story. That is not okay, and someone has to speak up. And yet when we do, there's a big rift in the Wedgeworth community. The families are not given all the information, and so they react in anger with those who have sought out the truths and other options, showing different perspectives of the hand-fed information. You are responsible for this division, maybe others as well who fail to give full information, as in the town meetings. The district has put millions of dollars to people who are still trying to pull the wool over our eyes. It was a recommendation only by the 7-Eleven committee that's school land to be sold. Nowhere is it written that Wedgeworth could not get a school building unless land was sold. The architect plans were developed for the purpose of selling land, which causes so many negative things to happen: increased population, traffic, destruction of our Little League fields. I ask you to recheck your perspective on design, destruction, and sale. Architect plans can and should be redrawn. A school K-5 could be built while students still go to class, with the sports area being later placed where the classrooms already exist. The baseball fields are saved, no increase in population or traffic, less environmental impact, and less money. Utilize what we have, other schools, other property. Another perspective would be to stop increasing enrollment at a school with already too many students. There's a brightly lit message on Wedgeworth School to enroll now for 2019-2020, and they say they're impacted. Extra students and some teachers can be moved to Bixby, and/or the K-5 students at Cedar Lane be moved to Bixby, so Cedar Lane will be free to accept the graduates from both schools. Ideas that can save millions. You have said we do not have the money currently for the school. Maybe contributions are coming in that we don't know about for the purpose of prioritizing Wedgeworth as being more important than all the others in the district. They are not. Utilize the teachers, the programs, the principal if necessary at other schools, if that is what it takes to improve the performances of these schools. Do not destroy the Little League fields. This idea is so wasteful. Destruction of one single place to spend $10 million to replace it. I don't know how anybody could come to think that was reasonable. I would request individual responses from each of you in regards to attendance. Your voices can be heard. Make this a better district for everyone, utilizing fairness, equality, better economical decisions, and respect for the Little League community at large.
Thank you.
Stand up for those schools with low performance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ann Dunbar, this is directed to the board. It breaks my heart when a parent brings a child in here to plead their case. I would never use my child as a pawn to do my talking. And they're not getting the story right, and you are neither. Do you remember? I grew up here. I'm the first graduating class to have gone to Los Altos High School. And I'll tell you, Mr. Schilling, Mr. Dezzuti, they're all turning over in their grave to see this school board acting the way it's behaving. The children in this school district deserve it on both sides, and they're not getting it. You do not favor one school over another, and besides, I don't care about what you're saying. That one parent said, my daughter teaches in a bungalow, and you know what? She loves it. And her kids go in the rain, and the water doesn't melt them. I'll be darned. And if you're worried about Wedgeworth, give them more bathrooms. You could have done without those grave sites on each campus. You go by the school, and you have this big stone identifying the school. Those cost $10,000 to $15,000. I call them, my husband calls them grave sites. You can go to the cemetery and see the same stone. You should have used it for those kids at Wedgeworth and built them some bathrooms, but instead you filled the school with more kids, more kids, and you brought them up from other areas, Long Beach, Pasadena, all over. And those people aren't paying her taxes. We're the ones that are paying our taxes. And why can't you guys look at me? You have your heads down. Shame on you, all of you who have your head down when I'm talking to you. I know you don't want to hear what I have to say, but I'm saying the truth, and you can't stand it. And I've been here since AYSO, and you promised us a place for those kids at AYSO. They had to go to Roland Heights, and now their parents have to pay money to see their kids play. You didn't provide them anything. You gave them absolutely nothing. It was just a big joke. And most of the stuff that you're telling us is lies. It's downright lies. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Roland Dunbar. You've heard from me before. My spiel was a little less egregious. We pass these up to the When you closed Cedar Lane School, you took the students, you told them 2 years we'll bus you over to the other side of Hacienda Boulevard. After that, you're on your own. The students that are over there, to get to Bixby, to get to Cedar Lane, have to cross a bridge across the freeway. I don't think any of you would care to go across that bridge when the homeless are in their encampment at the foot of one of them. You can see the mattress in there and all the, put it bluntly, crap that's there. You walk across that bridge, you see drug paraphernalia in the trash along the edge. You want your kids walking across that? To get from Cedar Lane to, go from Glen Elder to Cedar Lane is 1.1 miles using the bridge. You don't have any bus service anymore. To go from Glen Elder to Bixby is 1.4 miles. I paced it off. I'm good at that. I'm an ex-Boy Scout. To go from Wedgeworth to Bixby, gate to gate, 2,640 feet. And yet the parents would be complaining, my kids can't walk to Bixby School. To go to Cedar Lane, it's 4,224 feet. That's quite a bit further. But still a heck of a lot less than a mile, and a mile 0.4 and a mile 0.1, which is the people coming across that freeway. Those kids that walk across that are exposed to fumes from the vehicles, let alone whatever may be lurking at the beginning or the end of that bridge, of which you have some pictures of it.
Can you live with yourself?
Here's that showed them.
Can you live with yourselves? But you want a $51 million school, and these kids have to do without.
Thank you.
3.1% of the school population is Wedgeworth. They are trying to push for 25% of the budget.
Shoot,
Is this equitable? I really don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead and put my timer too. Just a second.
No rush. You got your time.
I just got a message since the last meeting.
I don't blame you.
I'm not planning on
No, I don't
just-
blame you. I don't
This
trust
is
you.
serious.
Okay, yeah. Let us know when you're ready, Lucy. We'll get ready too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm ready. Start.
That's not even my home.
I would like to actually, Gino walk. Gino, you mentioned earlier last meeting on September 12th that your dad had to go through a lot of difficult times to fight for disability services.
Disability services.
Mm-hmm. Something with your dad you had to fight for disability. Okay? Just, I hope you understand where we're coming from, since you had a personal experience. Good evening. Good evening, board members of Hacienda Heights School, Unified School District. On September 12, 2019, it was one of our first time attending Hacienda Heights La Puente Unified School District board meeting. My daughter, Kimberly Marie Sandoval, and I came to this meeting September 12, 2019 with high expectation that our voice was going to be heard loud and clear. With the expectations with that, loud and clear. We need more help with children's disability and mental challenges, and that my daughter is feeling behind in Spanish, English. This is for both language and math, reading and writing. My daughter saw me reading the board minutes. We went to speak up. My daughter asked, did they listen to us? I said no. The minutes wrote, Ms. Sandoval, district parent, expressed her concern regarding her child's education. That's all, which is not true. I have said more. She put her head down, then put her head up and hi to me and said, Mom, it's time to call the news and tell our story. You, the board member, let me ask you a question. Why did you censor us as a parent with children with disability? These minutes are legal document and it must be done right. We do not need a new school. Hacienda La Puente School Unified School District board members, we have a problem. We need more accessibility for disabled children and services and all children to play on a safe ground. Please keep in mind our children are not made of paper that you could shovel it up, just crumble it up and throw away.
Your time's up.
Okay, may I continue?
Feel free.
Thank you.
We'll give you 2 more
Have,
minutes.
thank you,
Give me 2 more
thank you,
minutes.
thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Have it hard and children's crumble it up and throw away. There are human beings, have heart feelings, eager to learn. Most important, they are future of this world. I believe I speak for everyone. We do not appraise excuses. We appraise solutions. I ask you all board members, should one of the solution is to change and have a new board member for Hacienda Heights Puente Unified School District for our voice to be heard? Here's another solution. Remodeled these schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Now that's, thank you. So 9:30, want to recess to 9:30?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All right, we're on recess. Thank you.